Hey, I'm Ron Drotos from KeyboardImprov.com, and welcome to day 7 of our Rock Piano for Beginners Workout Challenge. I'm loving this, so glad you're here. Thanks for being here, and it's getting you fluent, right? Somebody sent or wrote a comment or sent me an email after like the third where we just did the right hand saying, oh, I missed the left hand, and I said, stay with it because it's getting you fluent. And then he responded again the next day saying, that really opened up something in my right hand playing, gave me some space to really think about it. So yeah, I still practice with just the hands separately sometimes, improvising or playing bass lines and in different styles. It really does help. So today we're going to do Along The Watchtower, Bob Dylan's classic song. And it was covered by Jimi Hendrix, very famous version from the 60s. And then more recently, the Dave Matthews Band, Neil Young, other players have done it too. It's a real classic rocker. And like some of these classic rock tunes, it's very simple, but it's got a little wrinkle in it. And actually, everybody plays this differently. That's the thing. So it has these same 3 chords we've been working with. The A minor, the G, and the F. So just play that with your right hand with me. Root position. Here's A minor. Here's G. Here's F. Now we're going to learn this in a few different ways in terms of we're going to learn the left hand, we're going to learn the right hand, we're going to solo, play it as an accompaniment and just jam, and then see where it takes us. But basically, just to give you a little overview, they all do it in different keys too, all these artists, depending on where their vocal range was. So Dylan and Hendrix did it a little higher, but we're going to do it in A minor because we know these chords, and it's a great introduction to rock. And also, it's Neil Young's key. So I'm going to play the different versions, but in A minor, okay? So Dylan didn't play the G chord on the way down. He just went A minor, F. Or if you want to go down. And the bass kind of went to G. It went A minor, over G, and then F. That's Dylan's version. Hendrix put in a G chord, and he did a very specific rhythm. Something like that. Other people mix it up. It's interesting. I looked at the Neil Young sheet music, and he plays A minor, and then he moves the bass to G, but he keeps the A minor before he goes to F. But on the video I watched, the guitarists are clearly playing the G. And like that. And that's actually the version I've always heard in my head. I don't know why, but everybody plays this differently. So here's the deal. It's a 2-measure phrase that just repeats the whole time with the chords. And it's 2 beats of A minor, 1, 2, then 2 beats of G, and then 3 beats of F, 2, 3, and 1 beat of G. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just play the right hand alone with me. A minor, 2, 3. Don't worry, you'll get it. A minor, G, F, G. We'll just do this a few times. And start trying to get some... Oh, I didn't set the timer. We'll do this for 20 hours instead of 20 minutes. Here we go. Not a bad thing, right? Ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just keep doing that for a while. Right? If you're playing organ in a band, this is what you might play. Or a little under tempo just to get it. Now in our left hand, let's play either a single note or octaves, and we'll just play the same thing, but in one note at a time. We'll play A, G, F, 2, probably do both hands together, or if you just want to stay with one. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep doing that while I play a little more of a groove. Those chords and absorb this. Come back to those chords in a minute, but now just solo with your left hand, with your right hand rather. Okay, A blues scale. I'll play the accompaniment. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get into these little rhythms like and then expand them. That's really the key to rock. The rhythms are more important than the notes generally. So now let's go back to, you know what, let's slow it down a little. And you can improvise with your right hand and play this bass line like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you forget to do that on 4, don't worry about it, it'll come. But do what you can. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the rhythm I use, like I said, everybody does this a little differently. So if you have another version, you know, you could just play that too. But I go bum 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 bum, and I anticipate the F a little. And I play different rhythms there on the F. Let's just do that with our right hand. Here we go. Bum bum. right hand. If you're ready for that, you can. But it's not even better. Rock and roll is, about repetition, getting into the groove. Guitarists, aren't. Neil Young's not playing a different version every time he plays that F chord. It's about digging in. So now try the left hand, and it can be a little more on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Any of those rhythms. 1, 2, 1. Just pick up what you can, right? That's what a jam session is. You can go back to the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Matter of fact, that might be better if you're just starting this. And add the right hand chords. Any way you can. Maybe even just go. You can do that. 2, 3, 4. It's funny because I'm starting to leave out the G now because I was just listening to Dylan do this beforehand, and he just goes from the A to the F. They both work. But we're playing the G. That's how I really play it. Good. So now let's trade back and forth. I'm going to keep the bass going the whole time, so that's optional for you. You can just do the right hand you want or the bass. We're going to trade back and forth, 4 measures each, which is 2 times through the pattern. We'll do 8 measures. 8 measures each, 4 times through the pattern. And we'll start with me soloing and you playing the chords. And then we'll switch. I'll play the chords, you solo. And like I said, you can either play the left hand or not. If you want, you can just do the left hand while you're doing the chords and then leave it out while you're soloing, or vice versa, whatever you want, okay? So start with the chords and possibly the bass line, and I'll solo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Watchtower. You know, eventually when you learn a couple more blues scales, you know, I think Dylan did it in C sharp, which is not a usual key. On the guitar, you just move one fret up, right? I mean, I say just, but relatively simpler than on the piano, transpose. But, you know, it's possible, you know, eventually to learn those too. And it's just 3 chords in whatever key you're in. Now, we're going to, so we'll come back to that as a warm-up in the next few lessons. But basically, now you know it. We're going to take the end of Stairway to Heaven, the part with the big guitar solo, because rock soloing is not just for guitarists, as we know. Right? So let's see if I can get into the groove. It's the same 3 chords. Very similar, if I'm getting that right. So it's 2 beats of A minor, 1, 2, 1, 2, then 3 of F. I'll check this afterwards, but I think this is right. 1, 2, 3, and it's bum, 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 bum. Just a little different groove. So basically, traditionally, it's sort of like that bass and snare, right? A lot of times when I'm playing on piano, again, especially if it's solo piano, I'm imitating more of a big band, a large rock group or a small rock group, rather than just what a pianist would play. Because if you're playing on this tune, you know, you might be playing more sustained chords because the guitars are playing on the backbeat or something. But basically, I like to do this bass guitar thing, which is also like bass drum and snare. It's like boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, something like that. So I'll go boom, 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 ch, and then boom, 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 boom. Try that along with me. Boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, boom, boom. Here's the A minor. G, boom, F, G, boom, 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 yeah, we can start improvising on it. You know, it's interesting because we hear this, what I call the myth of musical perfection on some of these records, especially recorded solos. And that's a great guitar solo that Jimmy Page takes on Stairway to Heaven, right? Except for the fact that he never really took it. He did like 8 to 10 takes, you know? He played the solo like 8 or 10 times in the studio, and then they pieced it together. They took this phrase here, and if you listen to it, you can hear that. It's like 2 measures from here, and then 2 measures from there. And it's great the way it came out. He's a great player, right? But the funny thing is, Led Zeppelin didn't like to release singles. They just wanted albums. And so that became an unexpected hit, that one song, Stairway to Heaven. And then Jimmy Page said in an interview that he realized fans expected him to play that same solo. So he had to go back and learn it because he had never actually even played it once, right? So it's interesting, you know, is the way people really play is much more improvisatory and not always like this perfection, like this written out, or it's almost like, and that's fine, the recordings are not, you know, they're not supposed to be always live performances, but sometimes we think we need to play like that all the time, and we don't because they don't play like that all the time. All right, so let's just jam on this for a little while. You can do whatever you want. You can do the bass, you can do the right hand chords, or you could solo. We'll just have some fun with Stairway to Heaven, okay? 1, 2, 3, A minor, G, F. Wondering what I'm doing with my left hand. Only if you're ready for it. Don't worry if you can't do this. When I get to the F, I'm putting a C in between. this. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, 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 2 tom-toms or something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Led Zeppelin had done more songs like that really evolved over the tune. A lot of their stuff, as great as the grooves are, for me, I want more contrast. But that's just me. You know, you can't argue with a great band though, and that's why not everybody's the same, right? All right, let's sort of take it down a little and just play this as a ballad again, like we've been doing. And we're gonna. I like the same pattern. Oh, there we go. So we'll have to come back to that another time. So congratulations. Getting up and running with rock piano playing. We're getting fluent. We're learning these basic chords. We're going to stay with A minor for a couple more sessions and then move on to other blues scales and other tunes. But there's still more we can do. And the better you know A minor, the easier it's going to be to learn the other ones. So have fun. I'm going to put a few things you can click on here. One is a subscribe button. Get notifications for all my new videos. The second is link to the playlist. Right now there's only 7 videos in the playlist, but there will be 31, all 31 days. And then finally another link to another video I think you may enjoy. Thanks for being here. Have fun with your playing every step of the way, and like we've been doing, let the music flow. See you tomorrow.